work that I've done. I've sat on Fulton County zoning boards, and that is something where you can get an overview of your entire community and solve problems and understand what's coming to your community. And kind of like zoning is where you can cut off data centers. So when a lot of us get together and go to your zoning meeting, hey, we don't like what's coming to our community, we want to fight against it. And so I really took time to educate our community about zoning and how we can stop a lot of the things that we don't want in our communities at that particular moment. There I was on the Georgia Equality Board. So one of my biggest things that I did there was to stop discrimination from coming to the state of Georgia. Because we had a bill that was called the Religious Freedom Bill, and that was going to open the door to discrimination in this particular state. And that is one of the things that I've stood between Republicans trying to do this stuff and saying that, you know what, this is not who we are and this is not where we're going. And this is something that I've been very adamant about, discrimination, because I don't like it in any form. And so I will always continue to work on behalf against discrimination of any kind. I've also served as a legislative aide to Donzella James, which was my old senator. So I know a lot of the folks in the State House. I've worked there, and I've done it for my area, because after that we created a city in South Fulton. And so with that, after the Fulton County Zoning Board, we identified the problems that our neighbors were kind of giving us, because they were lopping off land and then adding a warehouse. Because about 10 years ago, all the Amazon warehouses were going everywhere. And a lot of what we were trying to stop by locking our borders and creating a city was to stop the warehouses from coming out to our communities and dragging down the value of some of our nicer communities, because they were putting it right next to really nice communities. And so we're like, no, we're going to create a city, lock our borders so you cannot annex anything else. And so from there, the city is about 10 years old, and it has a population of 107,000 people with a budget of about $431 million. So that's one of the things that's problem solving. And that is what I would bring to this particular district. Because I know you guys have not seen your congressperson. He has not had any town halls. He has not faced you with all the decisions he's made. And he has been very absent from the landscape. Well, I'm here in front of you, and I will commit to being in front of you. As a matter of fact, what I would like to do with my congressional office is turn me into voter engagement centers, so that we're training the next folks. We're also educating folks in civics, especially down here in a lot of these areas where it's lacking. So I think this is my commitment to you guys. And of course, the whole town hall is going to be in front of you. Because there shouldn't be a situation where I'm running from you because I voted against you. I would never do that. So with Austin Scott, he has consistently voted with Republicans against our communities. And that has been the Big Beautiful Bill, which needs to be repealed, because it is bleeding our economy. That is what's bleeding us. It's these tax cuts that we're trying to pay for. And the fact that we're taking investment from our communities to pay for said tax cuts, which means that now we're creating a Game of Thrones for things like schools, things like healthcare. We're paying so much more for things that our tax dollars should be helping us with, because each of us generate tax dollars in our states and in this country. And so that means that our tax dollars should be working for us, not for a whole bunch of other people or the one in the world with. And so that's my commitment, is to make sure that we reinvest our dollars back into our communities, and that means district-wide. And that covers about 22 counties. And so it's a big, huge district. And so I will need a lot of help from the community to make sure that the word is out there, and to make sure that I'm serving you guys the way that you want me to show up. Because at the end of the day, I'm serving you. It's not you serving me, I'm serving you. And my commitment to you is to always stay in front of you, is to always be well educated, but also well informed as to what's going on. And I'm so glad that these guys went first, because now I know what's going on in Milledgeville and exactly how you guys would like for me to show up. And that's what's important in this. So, my name is Dr. Esti. I am running for Congress against Austin Scott. I'll mention that name one more time, because there's always a reaction when I mention it. So either a wince or a snarl. Dr. Esti. And I'll make sure that you guys have each one of my cards, but please, sign up to Canvas, sign up to donate, and also sign up to tell a neighbor that you met me. But other than that, do you have any questions for me?
Will you commit to having a town hall more than once every 13 years?
Yes, I would. And one of the biggest things that I would like to do for the state of Georgia is a Georgia intrastate training, so that we can connect all of our large cities together, so that we can start to refocus a lot of our economic development in the state as a whole. And so we get a train system that connects all of our cities. We can start to spread out populations, but we can also have people to be able to get to work in other areas where they can make more money or do other things. And so that's one thing that I would be heavily advocating for the state of Georgia, is bringing that to fruition. Because transportation has been a huge issue in this state, even when it comes to local areas. So that's my commitment.
Question: when it comes, you run for Congress.
Yes.
You be representing us in Washington D.C. The Trump MAGA agenda. I heard you comment some on it in different videos. Can you speak to us? Because I think that's one of the things that have unified a lot of us Democrats is what's in the White House and what's coming out of there consistently.
Yes.
Be it it's the war, be it it's the kidnapping of leaders, killing of leaders, or the litany of other things to the Epstein files. What's your opinion on this MAGA agenda and how you plan on resisting it?
So I always look at our current president as a criminal. Merrick Garland dropped the ball for us because he was supposed to put this man in prison. 34 felonies, you're supposed to be in prison. So I'm not sure why first of all, we need to do some constitutional amendments to ensure that doesn't happen again. Right? There needs to be checks and balances, better checks and balances, because the dockets that we're taking it from are very vague. Now we need to add specifics. And to make sure that we don't allow criminals in our offices anymore to rule over us, because this job is about making laws and executing laws. How are you allowing a criminal to do one or those two functions? So at some point, we have to understand that these are not the type of people that we want in our offices. I have a brother that is stationed he's right now serving in the Iran war. And the war was not supposed to happen. This is an unnecessary and a very potentially expensive war. And it also could potentially unseat us as a power, because now you're threatening the sanctity of our dollar because of oil. So now he has put us in a situation where our future will be very uncertain. And for being able to rise from the ashes of this, because this is, I see it as Donald Trump is our lowest point. We can only go up from here, right?
We hope.
So I'm just saying, at some point, we have to take the lesson here and ensure that we do not allow people like this back in our offices. And that is incumbent upon voters and us. And whether or not we have to be more mindful of who we're listening to. We have to make sure that we don't allow these kind of people in our offices again. And whether it's a law, whether it's a state law, whether we can't put them on the ballot because you got a felony, it is what it is. We'll have to figure out something to ensure that this doesn't happen again. So.
Any other questions? Any other questions? Please give everybody a hand.